Go.
Coming to you live from the One More and I'm Out of Here / Illegal Shift Studios. We are bringing you a very, very special edition of the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. And why is this special?
Ta-da. Does
anybody know why this is special? Andrew, do you know why it's special?
I feel like there's something here.
I'm not sure what I don't know what's fucking happening. Hold on.
It's a tumor. I got a tumor.
Yeah, it's real. It's real.
Oh, it's real. It's taking up a hell of a lot of space on this desk.
We've got Dan Carroll back on the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast.
Back home.
Dano. This made me very, very happy.
Is he gonna cry?
You know, I really don't feel like talking today, so you guys just go ahead and do what it is, you know.
You
All
do?
right.
Whatever you do.
Well, that sounds good. That's fine.
Are y'all talked out?
I am. We had too much conversation before the show started.
Don't you feel like you've come home?
I used up all my shit.
Is it?
I used up all my material.
I got nothing left.
I got nothing. Don't you feel like you've walked into a nice home meal? Like you walked into your house and you smell your favorite meal? Or you put on your favorite underwear?
No, it's I'm glad to be back. We got Pappas here. It's One More and I'm Out of Here. The Illegal Shift Studio. Nothing. I mean, there's an extra light over there now, so that's new.
They don't know that.
I know. Well, I'm seeing. I can see it from here.
Okay. I can see it.
So, but no, it's all good. I was away for a little while, but now I'm back.
Did you have fun? Did you have fun on your journey?
Yeah, it was nice having some time off.
Did you find what you were looking for?
I have never found what I'm looking for.
You achieved complete and utter
yeah.
whatever it is that you complete.
Right, it's like the llama, you know.
Yeah. So I says, "Hey, llama."
No.
or
it goes into the force is strong with you.
I don't know, but I haven't done this in a while, so
that's what she said. There you go.
Do we still do that?
Yes.
Well,
I do.
Right.
I do. He does not, but that's okay.
I've got my hint 0 calorie water.
Jill actually said that it would be refreshing to hear multiple beer cracks and to hear the term 100%.
Oh,
so 100% is now back.
That's twice.
Gosh.
And our friend Falk around and find out said someone's going to get pregnant.
God, that's disturbing.
I'm not sure who it is, but we'll figure it out.
No, but thanks for everyone who said nice things about me not being here, and I know you missed me so much and all that.
There we go.
See, that's normal. See, now we're back to normal. We are back to normal technology, and Dan do not.
I had my volume up because I was going to play that. We've got a good soundbite from Matt Gates.
You sent it to me, so I had it.
And I know, and it's I labeled it a good reason to like Matt Gates. and I don't know if you've heard this. You might have. It's a little bit of an older soundbite.
Oh, I've heard a lot of his soundbites,
but
so
it's an absolute classic.
And he has some good ones. I will not lie. Yeah. He does have some good ones.
So Deadleg is here, Falconator's here, David J.
I got a text from Liz.
All the regulars I see.
Our friend nice. Liz Pittman, who sent me a text, excited about you being back as well. Plus all the Instagram stuff.
Well, I just hope I can bring something to the show. I just hope I can bring a little something.
Well, I hope you start because you didn't before, but I'm glad you're going to start. I'm glad you're going to start.
Wow.
No, I can say
we were friends.
I am super excited that Dan is able to come back, and between us three, between Pappas, Dan, and myself,
I like it because now I can actually read the comments because I couldn't before. I don't have a laptop, so I'm reading the comments on Dan's.
Laptop. So that means I got to keep the screen up the whole.
Well, that's all right. That's okay. Well, I mean, you brought it, and it makes you look.
What about on the big screen?
Delayed there.
I know it's delayed here too.
And then we've got our buddy Jonathan. Jonathan Bates, difficult to look at pictures, who helps with the thumbnails. I send him info. He makes them.
Thank you.
Sends them out.
Thank you.
He's going to come on as a guest at some point because he is very salty that he hasn't been invited back because when the
thumbnails are cool. I like the thumbnails.
He kills it. He fucking kills it. But he feels like he hasn't been invited back since when we had Dan Hills on when we were in the back room of the varsity.
Wow, that's been a long time.
That is a while.
So he feels that he was not invited back, and He says, I'll never make the top 3. Well, he's way busier on other podcasts that are bigger podcasts. And I know that he did not want to be a co-host on this one.
All right. So who's raise your hand if you're going to watch the fight tonight?
Oh, hell yeah.
Mike Tyson.
We're going down to the
and
post.
This dude,
We're going down to post 318.
Jake Paul. I don't know that much about Jake Paul. He's a YouTuber. What does he do on YouTube?
That's how we got famous.
I know.
All of a sudden,
but what does he? Does he talk to people? Does he sit around and jerk off? I mean, what does he do?
I don't know exactly what his genre was.
What his skill?
Yeah.
His skill set is.
Yeah, what's his skill set?
Does he have a skill set?
Somebody in the chat.
I don't know.
David J will know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the guy, but I'll tell you this: I am looking forward to seeing Mike Tyson be Mike Tyson. I hope. Now, what's his age?
He's 58 years old.
God bless him.
58, and this guy's 30 years his junior. So.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the 58. I'd still be scared of Mike Tyson. I tell you what, that guy. Remember in the day, the guy could end you with one punch.
Oh, I mean, it was so great watching Mike Tyson fights.
Right, the early ones.
Those were
back
in the day. Those were the
like
best.
when he was
at the height of his power.
Right.
Because you could see when they would show the opponents before the fight would start. You could see the fear in their eyes. Because they would see him come into the ring and they would think, "Oh, what the fuck am I doing?" they knew they were going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
Now I was a little bit younger, but I remember my brother and brother-in-law like coming over to my parents' house, having a big party for the pay-per-view. You're paying $59.99, whatever it was, to watch literally all the undercards, like 17 undercard fights.
What time? Yeah, how many will there be tonight?
I'm not exactly sure. It's definitely not going to be that many. The fact that it's on Netflix, I don't foresee that.
I heard the payday for the guy is like $40 million.
But when fucking Tyson would knock somebody out in like 45 seconds, everybody be like, "The fuck did we just pay all that money for?" And back then, that was a lot of money.
I went. We used to obviously didn't go to the fight, but I went to remember the Summit in Houston. They'd have simulcast at the Summit. You pay tickets and go sit there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Tyson. Getting back in the ring. I mean, I think it's great. I think it's a great example of somebody dedicating themselves at his age to getting back in shape and putting the hurt. I hope he doesn't embarrass himself.
They did the weigh-in yesterday, and he was bumping around in his underwear. And the dude's looking pretty fit.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with him.
So
you said underwear, and he was looking fit. I mean, which part? Which part?
I mean, he's looking fit. He's looking fit. Like
where were you looking?
That's where. That's exactly.
What?
Dan make a startling admission here.
When you do the weigh-in,
welcome back, Dan.
Down. Some of those guys get completely naked, but you strip down to your underwear.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Never seen what?
Somebody get naked for a weigh-in.
Oh, for God's sake!
I put a towel up.
It happens.
But
Dan's probably.
But you looked at his brief. That's fine.
Well, it was video. It was on the video.
I will never look that svelte at that age. There's no fucking way.
I'm giving up.
I'm actually impressed.
That train has left the station.
Yeah, that train left the station a long time ago.
Now,
I should be at the train station
Remind me again. Who was he? He was married, right, for a short period of time.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Was it?
She was on the Cosby.
That's
show.
right. He was married to the Cosby. That's what I thought.
What was her name?
God, I can't remember.
I can't remember her name.
Something foreign, wasn't it? Like Joe something or whatever.
Is she dead now?
She got me, brother.
I don't know. She was in.
She was in
a couple episodes.
Makes me feel really old.
She was in a couple episodes of Ray Donovan. Did you ever watch that show?
I never watched that show.
Oh shit!
Great.
But I remember
Ray Donovan is that you should watch that. I think you would like that show. That show's the fucking bomb.
I'll have to check it out.
Bosco.
But
I usually wear a sock.
Robin Givens, is that it?
Well, he was definitely
513 came through with some information.
Yeah, he was married to Robin Givens. Yes.
Cincy 513 still listen to us?
He does.
How about that?
We have a standing rule.
Yeah, which is
we just don't ignore. We ignore him, but he provided some good information.
He hates us just as much as he did before you left.
You know what? He doesn't
maybe
like
even
me.
More so.
I don't understand. I've never met the guy, and he doesn't like me. I'm hurt. It hurts my feelings.
The one feeling
you don't have any feelings.
Well, that's true, but we did invite him. We invited him to the post 318 to come meet me and maybe like me, and he didn't show up. He was scared.
He blamed it on me, saying that he got a new phone and lost my phone number.
His phone miraculously stopped
which I had his number, but
it's possible. I
suppose
suppose
it's all right. It's all right. We're moving on. We move on.
Yeah.
So the fight is tonight. Starts at 8:30. It's going to be on Netflix, but no one has any idea how many undercard fights there are.
I can't imagine it being a ton. Honestly, with it being a Netflix promotion, it's not like HBO or whatever. Where they used to
drag
be
those things out so long.
I know.
Okay, so
And that's what
8:30. What's your prediction? The fight starts 8:30, right?
My prediction is fight starts at 11.
I say 11 too. I say 11 o'clock comes on the air, which that's a long delay. I mean, it's an hour and a half of fill.
Is there anything to eat down there?
Yeah. Oh, Timmy Sunderhouse, if he's down there, which I think he will be.
Yeah.
We'll have pizzas.
All
We
right.
will throw in.
Okay.
We'll throw in the oven.
God,
They're good. They're very good, actually.
Like pizza.
I can't go that long
beer at
without
11
something
o'clock.
Well, you have time in between the podcast and going down there.
I do. I was going to do a bunch of shit before the podcast started today, but the traffic was so fucking bad.
Well,
instead we played garage golf in the morning.
Yeah, God. You guys were so. How, you guys give that place thumbs up, huh? For sure.
Yeah. Love it.
Blake Williams, the guy that runs the place, a great guy. I love the setup, the music they play. He found this satellite station that plays, great hits from like late 70s and through the 80s and into the 90s.
Well,
wherever.
Music.
The music is awesome.
So he had cool music.
Yeah, cool music. I don't know if he plays any Romeo Void, but
you can hit a
you got to admit that's the greatest song you've ever heard. Seriously, that's the greatest.
You can hit a shit shot and yell "fuck" like Dan does, or "God damn it," and nobody cares.
But you don't throw.
Well, he said that today. He said, I just said "fuck" on one of my shots. I said, I love that.
So I'm actually doing a live podcast there Wednesday night with one of the guys in his league, and Blake is also going to be sitting in.
Now, let me ask you a question, because I've never done that. So,
all right. Interrupting squirrel. Let me finish my fucking thought.
You're going to do it. It gets to your question. I want to. Yeah, it gets to your statement.
Weird.
All right. If you suck on a real golf course, will you suck there too?
Yes.
Okay. That's my question.
You'll suck worse, actually.
Oh, really?
It's a little bit more difficult. It's a different feel. But it's fun. I have a blast. I'm a shitty golfer. I know that on a real golf course, but I'm shitty there too.
I think I've played out of 5 or 6 rounds there so far since it's been open. And I'm just starting to get the short game figured out. Like around the greens, out of the bunkers. Had out a lot of bunkers today.
All right, so back to what I was saying. I'm going to be doing a live one next Wednesday with Blake, because I want to promote his business, and then also a guy named Will Slickest Golf, who makes custom head covers. We're going to have him on, figure out how he got into that. It's going to be, it's just kind of a one-off podcast.
Head covers are nice.
Oh, dude, they're fucking awesome. And I think it's going to be an unboxing of one. So that's why we're going to do it video and live.
So you're going to be playing golf while you're on the air?
No, I'm just going to be there.
Mount Washington.
Oh, neat.
Dun, dun,
Right.
dun.
Yeah. Attention span.
No, I'm just saying.
It's neat.
Popped up on my feed. It's Mount Washington.
Well, what, somebody get kicked out of the house or what?
No, that's the homeless camp.
That's a
They moved back in. They came back.
Well, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
That's where Andrew lives.
Is Mount Washington a sanctuary city now?
City of Cincinnati is, so I imagine.
You believe that shit?
Guess what?
Getting
ready to go away, though. And you want to know why?
Why?
You want to know why it's getting ready?
Because we have some really good choices that Donald J. Trump
Because the Trumpster is the man.
Yes.
is the man.
I had Tom Homan on my show last night.
Which is
Did you really?
right.
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow. I wish I would have known.
He was awesome.
And here is exactly why. This is why this is going to happen.
I want your reaction to this clip, Tom. Play cut 369, please.
One who intends to come take away the freedom and opportunity and dignity of Illinoisans, I would remind you that a happy warrior is still a warrior. You come for my people, you come through me.
Game 1 minute, your reaction, Tom.
Game on. We got no problem going through him. I got 20,000 men and women in ICE are going to do their job with no apology. Congress has enacted a law that protects this country. People need to understand. But what if they're not criminal aliens? Look, entering this country illegally is a crime. Every illegal alien in this country committed a crime to get here. So they're all criminals. And look, there's some worse than others. I get that. And even if they're not a criminal alien, when you cross that border and you overwhelm the Border Patrol, just because you're simply illegal alien, not a criminal, when you overrun the Border Patrol, that's when they get busy changing diapers, making baby formula, making hospital runs, making transportation runs. That's when the fentanyl comes across to kill 250,000 people. That's when you got 600% increase in sex trafficking. That's when you have a record number of terrorists crossing the border and people on the terrorist watch list. Illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. We're going to enforce the law without apologies. And the day Donald Trump takes that oath, we're in a go mode. And if any government wants to stand in the way, go ahead and do it. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to be intimidated. The men and women of ICE ain't going to be intimidated. We're going to do our job the way President Trump has committed to the American people. We have a mandate, and we're going to do it.
Tom Homan's a man.
That's exactly what we need.
He is my A+ pick in this cabinet.
That guy has been there. He's done that. And here's the thing. When you watch about this, and I don't know if you saw recently in the Enquirer here locally,
the National Enquirer?
No, the Cincinnati Enquirer. I mean, it's a rag of a paper.
It is a rag of a paper
in our hometown newspaper.
Agreed.
But their story was about local advocates are
concerned.
Very concerned about the immigrant population, and people are wondering if they're going to be deported and what they can do and what they should do, and they're sending out all this information and they're trying to tell people, where to go and what resources they have and all this bullshit. Here's the thing. When Tom Homan talks about illegal immigration, he is talking about, again, people who came here illegally.
Right.
When you watch the media, though, all they want you to think about is, well, just some guy that, came across is trying to do better for his family, trying to scratch out a living the American dream, paying his taxes, working hard, all this shit. Bullshit.
Oh, why?
It's illegal. Tom Homan is a guy that has looked a 9-year-old girl in the eye.
Held her in his arms.
That has been sexually abused.
Right.
On the way from wherever she came in South America or Mexico, and came across the southern border. Right. He has held kids in his arms as they died. I mean, that guy has seen what fentanyl does to people.
Well, he's also seen what the illegal trafficking has done.
Yeah, right.
And let us not forget, 325,000 children have been, lost track of here in the United States.
And that was one of the things that he talked about last night when I had him on my radio show, was that that's one of the things they're going to do is they're going to start trying to find these kids.
Listen, I mean, those people are victims. Those 300,000 kids are victims. And
and where he said it's not a victimless crime. No, it's absolutely a victim crime.
It is, and they're not innocent. And I'll say this: you talk about the right man in the right place at the right time. That's him. I mean, he's there.
Well,
and,
he was already there,
right? And then he got taken out because we had a administration that promoted illegal immigration.
Well, he deported people under Obama. He worked for Obama. So you're going to start hearing all these stories about what a bad guy Tom Homan is. He's setting up concentration camps for people. He's going to be doing all these horrible things. But don't forget, this he's been around for a long time. He started as a police officer back in the 80s.
He was a border guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was a I don't know if it was called ICE back then, but he was a border patrol guy back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So he has been there. He has done it all, and he has seen it all, and he knows how horrible the situation is. And it's very simple. Come in the country legally. If you're here legally, and I'm looking at the camera right now because maybe there's some illegal that's watching our show right now, which we thank you for that. But
Cincy 513 is illegal.
If you're in the country legally, you don't have anything to worry about. If you're here illegally, my advice to you would be to self-deport. Put your hand up. Say, look, I didn't do the right thing. I'm here illegally. Please help me get out of the country. And they will be more than accommodating and will, in a humane way.
Listen,
they are going to do it in a humane way.
I have a little more experience at this than you guys do. because I had a business, and one of our guys at one time found out that his Social Security card was the number he gave was fraudulent. So we talked to him. We said, "Look, you got a choice. You can, we can't have you keep working here under a fake name. That's just illegal."
Really?
Yeah.
Really? See, the on local TV and the Enquirer wants you to believe that our economy is going to fall to shambles if people leave businesses like the one you used to run.
Well,
and you don't have the illegals working.
So you know what he did? So there was a system. There was a system set up. He had to leave the country. Okay. Go back to the country that he was from. It was Mexico. And then he applied and then came back. It probably took about, I want to say it took about 6 weeks, maybe a little longer. He was gone. And then he had a green card and had the documentation and was on the path to citizenship. It's not hard to do. And it wasn't and I kept his job. The funny thing, I kept his job open for him. When he came back, he had a job.
Yeah.
And
I never knew you were such a humanitarian.
I was, but anyway,
you hate to admit it. You got a soft spot
somewhere. But I mean, my point is, people sit there and think that okay, we're going to round up every illegal or however they think it's going to occur. I just think that if you notify the businesses, okay, XYZ is using a fake Social Security number. Okay, you need to check it. Now, the funny thing of all is you don't have, maybe most people don't realize this, as an employer, you know what I don't have the right to do?
You're not allowed to ask what their citizenship status is.
Not only that, I'm not allowed to see his Social Security card. So when I give him the I-9 or whatever it is, they fill out the number. Yeah, I can't see that. I can't ask for it.
Because where I'm employed now, I had to actually bring in
your Social Security card?
Not a copy of it, not a photocopy, the actual card itself.
Well,
I had to present it to the employer that I worked for.
At that time, I was not allowed to see a Social Security card. They filled out the I-9 or whatever the form was. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyhow, long story short, and sometimes people would transpose numbers by accident, like American born. But the guy went back to Mexico, got all his paperwork in order, came back 6 weeks later, and he was here as a legal. They were able to do background checks, make sure he wasn't a terrorist, which I already knew that. But I mean, my whole point is there's a system set up, and it's not so cumbersome that it's going to make everybody, like businesses, shut down, like the left might want to say. I'll tell you something else is people need to keep an eye on, and I'm not necessarily singling them out, but there's been several stories. Catholic Charities is one of the biggest groups here that brings people from the southern border and aids and abets them.
And they're raking in millions.
Right. Yes. And they've been getting money from the federal government. Right. So I think people should keep an eye on how they adapt to the new Trump administration and the rules and see what they do.
Well, that money that's going out to all those NGOs is going to be reduced probably to a trickle.
Good.
Compared to the fire hose that it is now.
Yeah, I can't argue with that at all.
Well, and here's the thing, like talking, just with random people that aren't completely versed as much as you guys are in politics and whatever, but younger guys at the firehouse, and they're like, oh, my captain and I were talking about our pick, the picks of the cabinet. I'm like, home, and I love it. Like, it's perfect. It's exactly what needs to happen. Somebody that's going to come in and actually do the job. And they're like, well, what happens, everybody? I said, well, it's essentially like a big shrimp net that's going to get cast out. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take a while.
It's like Bubba Gump.
But guess what? You're going home. As he said, you're going home. Pack your bags, get the fuck out, come back in the right way, and guess what? The door's open.
That's it.
So weird. Such a weird concept.
There's going to be a process in place for doing that. I'm not saying it's going to be fun. I'm not saying it's going to be easy.
Right.
But if
it's not insurmountable.
Yeah. If you're dedicated to really being an American, then it's worth your while.
And we have a friend that has friends that have gone through this process to try to do it the correct way.
Right.
And it was expensive. It's very expensive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
depending on circumstances, but just, personal, bringing it, back home here was very expensive fucking route, but he did it the right way, and he made sure he paid it and did it the right way.
I'm not going to listen to the Democrats and the left gnashing of teeth predicting gloom and doom, because honestly, They knew what they were doing when they created this whole debacle.
We were fine. We were fine before they let everybody in.
Right.
We were fine.
And then for Nancy Pelosi to get on the TV or get on a program and say, oh, the numbers under, and they actually fact check it for the first time ever, but oh, the numbers under Biden were less, were really low immigration, and she lied. I mean, that's just a lie.
Complete and total lie.
Well, I don't know. She could be drunk, so I'm not sure.
That's the thing. How many bottles of Merlot was she in?
It's hard to
when
tell.
that
It was early in the
happened.
day. I mean, I've seen her at pressers, and she's like just totally shit-faced.
I've always wondered.
That was the other joke that was brought up on Drinking Bros. Besides Whoopi was, would you fuck Nancy Pelosi?
Oh, for God's sake!
How much money would it take, Andrew?
Drink here.
How much money would it take?
I don't need it.
How much money?
I don't need it.
I saw a picture
I
of her.
don't need that. There's not
Dan,
that much.
Dan, how
I
much
saw
money?
a picture of Nancy Pelosi the other day.
Back
when
in
she
the
was
day?
at the inauguration of RFK.
And
of Kennedy,
and
and she was
attractive?
she was not bad. She looked a little bit like Judy Garland
You'd have banged it out
back
then. Would you bang it out now?
then. What, Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah.
No way in hell.
All right, just checking.
No
the
way
show-
in hell.
Just
The
try to keep a finger on the pulse, Dan.
But
The
I've
show is
I've
gonna
often
take
wondered,
pulse.
could you imagine?
Welcome back, sir.
Could you imagine
Welcome back to this shit show.
actually walking into a voting booth and seeing Nancy Pelosi's name on your ballot
She got reelected.
as a candidate for Congress, and actually checking off her name and voting for her?
Nope.
How can I don't understand?
Fucking David J. Nancy's got some heavies.
That's fact. I've seen pictures of her in a bathing suit.
That's just
Oh my god.
this show has really gone. Dan, welcome back. You've
What did I do?
you've
Did I do something?
We're back.
I think I was trying to raise the discourse here, the speech.
Raise the discourse. Right.
Now the amount of bullshit that comes out of your face, Andrew.
You shut your mouth.
You keep it.
You shut
keep
your
it
mouth.
You keep it level.
Bubba gum.
But yes. So we got.
Trying to maintain flow.
Whoa, we threw it all off. Well, you threw it all off because you fucked it up. So, all right. About Nancy Pelosi.
You know
Are
what?
you going to do it or not?
Wait, someone brings up a good point. And we're kind of railing on Nancy Pelosi here, okay?
Well,
and
she's a
you're-
clown.
Well,
so
but yes,
why would she
no.
not?
But you're asking about would you engage in sexual relations with Nancy Pelosi? Can I expand on that for just 1 second and keep it clean?
I don't have a love hammer.
Well, here's the deal. Doesn't that apply to Democrats in general? Because I have to say, if you look at the one thing I've noticed during this whole election cycle and others, Republican women, conservative women
Yes.
are quite a bit more attractive
Boom.
than any Democrat woman for the most part. And rarely do you meet a Democrat woman, or for that matter, guy, and the guy's not like a metro, right? And the woman is not as appealing as a Republican woman. I'll just say that.
So hypothetically,
Is that true? Or is that not true?
no, it's absolutely factually
true.
true.
Conservative women are hot.
So
That's it.
hypothetically,
100%.
100%.
I'm gonna-
Shit.
I'm
And
gonna
liberal
take that.
women are not. How is that? So you work on that one?
So hypothetically, had we had Vice President Walz come in, what do you think? What would it take for you to?
Whoa. Where are you going with this? No,
What would it take?
stop. Walls?
His
To
wife.
do- oh,
his wife.
Oh my God.
I was scared there for
I
a
know,
second.
I know.
So I didn't know the show went that
So
bad. I
the
was like,
podcast changed a lot since I've been gone.
No, I mean we started playing this game. Would you or would you not?
oh, his wife?
No,
Oh, she's a
absolutely
complete
not.
psychopath.
Absolutely
She's a
not.
complete psychopath.
God,
Fucking
There's no way.
weirdo.
No way.
Well, you know who else has noticed that liberal Democrat women are not attractive,
Mm.
and that is the Attorney General nominee, Matt Gaetz.
Oh yeah.
And he was asked about this. He was, I don't have the video of him actually where he was saying this at an event, but he was asked about it and got caught up with it. And the video here is a little bit old, but it's classic. And he was asked about it. You'll hear the question about what he was saying about liberal women and the response. If you don't know anything about Matt Gaetz, this response is pretty much all you need to know about this guy and why you should like him.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
Should be playing. Shit.
What do you say to people who think that those? Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
No,
Yes.
This is what you sent me, Dan.
What do you say to people who think that those?
I played it last night on my
And
show.
I have it unmuted. I don't know.
It's not playing?
So I'll just read it.
Oh, for God's sake.
Did you say that women attending abortion rallies are ugly? Gates says yes. The reporter says, what do you say to people who think these comments are offensive? Gates says, be offended. For whatever reason. I mean, this is unmuted. It's unmuted on our end.
Oh, that's a shame. It won't play. Damn it.
Look, I'll say this. So I went on my own page. I did say I was puzzled by the Gates pick, but
That one's weird.
you got to give the guy his due. He does have some good lines, and he doesn't pull any punches, and maybe that's why Donald nominated him. And to be fair,
Oh, Jim Bully said they could hear it. Sorry.
Oh,
My bad.
sorry.
We couldn't hear it on this one.
But I love his attitude on that. And he's like, he's shaking his head like, what's the big deal? Be offended. Yeah, you're offended. Be offended.
To be fair, though, I mean, I think that the Justice Department is the one that needs probably the most cleaning out of all the agencies, given how corrupt they are. So
Yes.
I'm totally cool with, listen, let's be fair. I mean, I'm being lectured as to whom bad picks are by folks that need I remind you who the current Surgeon General of this country is? I mean,
well, now Dr. Levin is
Rachel.
she is not the Surgeon General.
yes, she was.
She's like the Assistant Secretary of Health.
Oh, is that what she was?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
So she is not.
Is she an admiral?
She is an admiral.
Well, she's got that honorary. I wonder if she has to return the uniform when she leaves.
And
because
don't forget,
she's a fake.
whoa! I know she's a fake.
She's a fake woman.
She's a fake
and
woman.
She's a fake naval officer.
Well, let me ask you another question. Remember the guy that was working for the Department of Energy in nuclear waste? That guy?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking.
I forget his name.
Oh, High Heels?
Sam? Was it Sam?
Sam something.
We call it high heels.
Yeah, the cross-dressing dude that was stealing
Luggage.
Stealing luggage at airports.
I mean, these same people that had no. My problem is the same people that have no problem with these people in government and don't even cast another glance at it. Look at Matt Gaetz and say, "Oh, he's too weird. How can you?"
Well,
do
what
that?
about Pete Buttigieg?
Oh.
What kind of experience does he have?
He was just chest feeding. What's your problem? What is your problem?
And the guy, he goes and takes maternity leave.
Don't you chest feed?
When his?
Are you not a chest feeder?
No, I'm not a chest feeder. But he goes and takes maternity leave. When his husband
adopts a child,
is pretending to like they're giving birth to a baby.
I don't want to think about what they pretended to. So,
Jesus. So yeah.
Very,
and here's the other thing.
Very entertaining.
So I got two
as
thoughts.
he's wearing a pair of fake tits.
No, he's chest feeding.
Yeah,
and I don't know how that happens. I mean, these are things I don't want to.
I mean, how damaging is that to the kid?
Oh, that poor kid's got.
I
No
mean,
chance.
zero shot. God.
Zero shot.
But I got two thoughts on Matt Gaetz. Number one is I cannot believe that he is that politically inept that if he knew there was
zero chance,
real substance to these issues about him, if he had sex with an underage girl,
right?
Did the drug use, whatever,
right?
If he knew, and he knows in his heart of hearts that there's real substance to it, and Trump says, "I want you to be my attorney general," that he wouldn't tell Trump, look, I've got this thing hanging over my head. It's not going to be good for you. It's going to be a distraction.
Oh, I think Trump would have known that too.
Don't nominate me.
Right.
I cannot believe that he would go out and put Trump in that kind of a position.
And himself.
Well, I don't care about him. I don't care what happens.
No,
to him.
but he wouldn't do it to himself. You're right.
So
for self-preservation.
Just based on that, I think that there's probably nothing to it.
Okay. So
and the other side of this is, and I heard this, I was listening to news reporters. I was on my way here today, stuck in horrible traffic. They were talking. There were some senator was talking about, and he resigned from Congress. So the ethics report, apparently I guess there's a rule that if you're not a member of Congress, you can't release the report.
Right.
So he resigned from Congress. The report can't be released. And the senator is saying that, we have advice and consent. we're the ones that have to approve the nomination. If we demand that to see that report, then we're going to, again, of course, as soon as the minute the Democrats get a hold of that report, it's going to be released, and Rachel Maddow will be having orgasms on the air
again. Too much.
But here's the thing: who the hell do these people think? I mean, do they really want to go down that road? Do they really want to throw those stones in that glass house? How many millions of dollars have been paid to settle all these
countless.
Yeah, these allegations of sexual misconduct against members of the Senate and members of Congress.
Countless.
How many millions?
Yeah.
So, if he stepped down a line, if he did something wrong, then he ought to be punished for that. But
it hasn't been done yet.
But these people want to act like they're holier than thou and say, "Oh, we can't have this guy as Attorney General. Look what he did." Well, look at Adam Schiff. I mean, there's all. Do you know the stories about Adam Schiff that are out there about the dead boy in the hotel room?
I'm going against everything, but since they buried the investigation, actively withholding chance for confirmation, but it's okay since there's an R in front of his name.
That's not what I'm saying.
He may or may not be confirmed, right? He may not be confirmed. But here's the thing: the fucking Democrats pushed the fucking Biden laptop down to the fucking bottoms of the depths. And all of a sudden, guess what? There was a balloon that brought it back up, and all of a sudden it's real. So how is this any fucking different? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it happens on both sides of the aisle.
Well, the Democrats only care when it happens on our side of the aisle.
Exactly.
And if any Democrat says otherwise, including those that like to type in messages here, they're lying to themselves and to everybody else. So, I mean, listen, that's not saying it makes it right.
It was apropos to bring up.
I'll be the first one to say this. If Gates has any, goofiness or whatever stuff in his closet, I would prefer it come out now and he withdraws nomination than get in office and then have it come out afterwards. But at the end of the day, I just find the sanctimony of those sitting there casting stones and saying he's a weirdo and this, that, and the other, when you didn't blink an eye at the people that have been put in positions of power in this current administration. You cannot have it both ways.
Has he been convicted of anything?
No.
Absolutely, he has not.
Now,
accused or whatever, back in the day, accusations of whatever, you could pull that out for anybody, right? So he hasn't been accused or convicted of anything,
right?
So he's still on the fucking plate to be confirmed.
Right.
It's gonna be up to.
Let me ask you a question, you guys here. I'll put you both on there. Confirmed or not confirmed, or recess appointment? What do you think?
Gates. Matt Gates?
Yeah, Gates.
I think if he doesn't go through the process and is not confirmed, then anything he does is going to be brought under a cloud of suspicion because he's a recess appointment, which is allowed for in the Constitution.
Right.
I totally understand all that, but it gives way too much fodder to the leftist media, to those.
Okay, then straight confirm
in Washington.
Does he get confirmed or not?
I think he'll get confirmed.
So you think so?
I think he'll get confirmed. And I'm going to go back to what I said the first time, that if he knows he's guilty, then he should not. And if he accepted this nomination from Trump and said, "Yes, I'll be your AG," and he knows he's got this in his closet,
right?
And there's a very strong likelihood that this is going to come out.
Yeah,
as we sit here today,
they're going to find it. They're going to find it.
If I could wager an amount of money that this is going to come out, I would. It's going to come out.
Well, I'll say this: if
he knows it, and he cannot put Trump. I just cannot see him putting Trump in that position. I just can't see it.
If he has done these things, okay, and if he knows that he's done these things, and he doesn't pull his own nomination, I would be like, you got to step down. I mean, if he's done these things, okay, I'm not one to be
that
like,
would be the normal.
I'm not the one that says, okay, but it's he's a scumbag, but he's our scumbag. I don't want any scumbag in there. So, I mean, I would like to think that the report, I don't know, man. I mean, I'd like to see how this works itself out. But I think Dan has a great point. There's no way, knowing that he's going to get, literally examined 5 ways to Sunday, that if he doesn't know this
anything
is just
and everything about
now,
his whole life.
Let's be fair. Do I think that do I put it past the current Justice Department to make shit up and to, ruin somebody because of, the way they've been operating? No, not at all. I mean, we have countless examples of this Justice Department running wild.
Correct. So
I don't necessarily just believe what I'm hearing chatter about without any proof. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. And I don't like the distraction it's causing, because I think overall, literally, I don't have a problem with any of his picks. That's the one that just kind of raised my eyebrows a little bit, knowing
that's what we're going to get into real quick.
Because I think we have the momentum on our side. I think, I'm really amazed. I want to get your guys' input on this. I mean, the recent announcement that, not only first Tulsi Gabbard, but
Yes.
RFK on his administration.
That's what we're getting to, fuckers. Hold on.
I know, but I'm excited. I'm the first time in a long time. What a transformative period of time we're living in right now for the government of the United States. And politics in general.
So let's go through these. Some of them I don't know. You guys are probably know them way more than I would, but UN Ambassador Representative Elise Stefanik.
Yeah.
Up or down?
I don't. That's fine.
Elise Stefanik.
Yeah.
I'm giving her a big thumbs up. She's been she has really been through the toughest of times when it was not what's the word, it wasn't the proper cachet in DC to be a supporter of Trump.
Right.
And she was from the very beginning.
Right.
She was a Trump supporter from the very beginning. She's never like Nikki Haley did, right?
Right.
Nikki Haley was all pro-Trump. She was actually the same job that Stefanik is going for.
And then
the American ambassador to the United Nations.
Right.
And then Nikki Haley, when it was convenient for her, stabs Trump in the back.
Right.
And now, and did you see what's going on with her now? She did an interview. Nikki Haley. And I'm sorry to go off on a tangent here, but
I'm not shocked. Dan.
It's
been a little while, but I'm not shocked.
She did an interview.
I feel like I'm at home right now.
And she was asked, because Trump came out a day or two after the election. He said, "I will not be asking or inviting Nikki Haley or Mike Pompeo, to have positions in my administration." So she did an interview with someone, and she said, "Well, Trump sent his people to me, and they said, 'What do you want? We'll give you anything you want. We'll give you, you can have." Just name your position, and we really want you in the cabinet. And she said, "Well, there's nothing that I want." That is complete bullshit.
No lie, that's bullshit.
I mean, and Nikki Haley, I'm sorry, man, but she threw Trump, and this goes back, years ago. She threw Trump under the bus when it was convenient for her.
Right.
And then all these stories about how they patched things up. And I know she came out, and I think she did 1 or 2 events with him during the campaign.
She endorsed him.
That's all fine and dandy.
Right.
But no, he cannot have someone as weaselly as that.
And damn well that's a lie, because if the president of the United States offers you a position, no matter what it is, you're taking it.
You fucking take it. You're an idiot.
So what do we get next on the
next
list?
one? We got Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security.
No problem.
Yep.
I've read a lot of criticism about that pick. I'm pretty good with it. I think Kristi Noem. There was one piece, and do you mind my expounding on this a little bit?
I welcome it.
There was one piece of legislation that she gets hammered for,
because I know you're going to anyway.
And
it's just like being with Pappas anyway.
And this was in South Dakota. The state lawmakers there passed a piece of legislation, and it had to do with men playing in women's sports. All right.
Okay.
And so before she signed it, she did something very unusual, Andrew, and she actually read the legislation. She read it, and she looked at it, and she said, "Here's my problem with it."
Right.
And she said the language, it was her opinion and the opinion of her legal people, that the language was ambiguous in such a way that it opened the door for lawsuits, and not only for lawsuits, but for lawsuits to prevail.
I remember that.
And so she came out and she faced a lot of questions about this. Well, she's turning her back on the conservatives, the people that put her in office.
But that wasn't the case.
And she did interview after interview, faced the fire, faced the tough questions. She said, I'm not signing it because I have these problems with it.
Right.
And to my way of thinking, that those are legitimate issues.
Oh, shit. Taft's paid to my way of thinking.
If you're the governor and you sign a piece of legislation and you don't think this legislation is going to stand up to scrutiny, you don't think it's going to stand up to, because everything as matter of course, anything that is in the least bit conservative, any piece of legislation is going to be challenged in court.
Absolutely.
If you don't think it's going to be challenged in court, then it makes sense to not sign it. Let's go back. Let's strengthen the language. Let's have a better law here.
Tighten it up.
That is more likely to withstand challenges in court.
No, she wasn't against the legislation
Right.
because on a principle. She was against the wording, and that's the job.
And I don't have a problem with
no,
that.
that's a good job.
But the whole thing around that got misreported.
Sure.
And she's to this day, she is still criticized.
Weird.
Wait a
for
second.
having
Weird.
taken that
You're telling me that the
Media
media misreported
misreports.
something?
Oh my God. Holy
God.
shit. You and I just
Well,
connected right there.
And,
God.
but
I actually just felt something.
But it's not just the media misreporting it; it's other conservatives who
Well,
look at the headline, who
yeah, but-
read the headline. Oh, she's not signing it, and they stop right there. They
Well-
don't go to the next step and find out. Well, why isn't?
All right.
she?
We're
Because
moving
they're
on.
lazy.
We're moving on. We're moving on.
Oh, sorry.
Next one. Environmental Protection Agency. Lee Zeldin. I don't know anything about him. You guys know him?
Lee Zeldin, he
don't.
was ran a great race. He didn't win last time.
Right.
He ran for Congress in New York.
New York. Okay.
I forget who he ran against, but he didn't win. Which is,
It was
look
close. It was a closer race.
I
for
mean,
New York.
I think the guy's got a lot of conservative credentials,
Yep.
and I like Zeldin. I think I think he could do a lot of different positions in an administration. But he's what's his position? again?
EPA.
EPA.
EPA. Yeah, I think he's going to be great. So
Fine.
I'm with Lee Zeldin.
All right.
Marco Rubio.
This one is weird to me.
What, Rubio?
Yeah, Rubio, Secretary of State.
You know, the funny thing about this, the scuttlebutt on this is
Remember when
Rubio's-
Trump called him Little Marco?
what
And
do
then
you
Trump had to make a dick joke during the debate.
what do you
He's like, look at these hands.
that's right, that's right.
I guarantee you there's no problem in that area.
Donald.
And Jim Rome played on his show, and he says, did Trump just make a dick joke during a presidential debate?
Rubio is one of the few nominees that everyone's like, no problem sailing through confirmation. So I don't have an issue with it. I mean, the only thing I know, he's not the senator from my state, but he's the only thing I remember is when he stopped when he was doing when he got the drink of water, like in the middle of a newscast or something like that.
He was giving the Republican response
Oh, that's right.
to the State of the Union
Right. And he
address.
stopped in the middle of it and had to
Yeah.
go. I was like, that's kind of weird.
He got
a little parched.
an acute case of cotton mouth.
That was kind of weird.
But
But I mean, Rubio's. I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I hear he's competent. I don't have an issue with it. Next one, I don't have an issue with either.
Mike Huckabee,
Well, wait,
ambassador
I
to
didn't get to
Israel.
talk about Marco Rubio.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I like Rubio. I think I
said
I
ditto.
think he's really smart.
Say ditto.
I look at Rubio as the conservative version of Pete Buttigieg, and I'm not saying he's gay or anything like that.
Chest feeds.
But
Is he a
this
chest-
is why
I'm not saying
He's a
that.
chest feeder.
This is why Buttigieg is dangerous. Pete Buttigieg is a very dangerous guy because he's not stupid. I mean, he's pretty smart. He is able to think quickly on his feet. He is able to, when he does interviews, he's able to pass himself off as a thoughtful guy, as a guy that understands an issue, as a guy that can communicate effectively. So not Marco Rubio, but Buttigieg is a guy that he can kind of give you that all shucks Midwestern kind of feel. And but deep down inside he's truly what's the guy's name on Flippenfeld? PG Flippenfeld, right?
Oh yeah.
He's like that, right? He's only out for himself. All he's out for is his own political advancement.
I wouldn't compare, although
But Marco Rubio, I'm saying, is smart in the same kind of way. Great thinking on his feet, understands issues, can go in depth. And I like Marco Rubio.
And Rubio, though, comparing Rubio to I mean, I understand personality-wise. My big problem with Buttigieg was, I mean, you know what the population of South Bend, Indiana is, right? It's like 40,000. It doesn't include Notre Dame.
It's like smaller than Anderson Township.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you took a guy that was mayor of a small town, 40,000 people, right?
I was mayor.
And that's like taking a trustee. That's like taking Josh Girth and putting him as secretary of whatever.
Oh, so now you're throwing Girth under
I'm
the bus.
not throwing Girth under the bus.
I think he just did.
I'm not. All right.
Send him this clip. Send Girth this clip. We got to get his response.
My
to this.
point is,
Rip it out.
my point in saying that is, why in the world would you take, other than the fact that he was gay and that chicked a box for you? Why would the guy had no experience? No, he couldn't even fix the potholes in frickin' South Bend, Indiana. So my point, and then you put him as he was, and I always referred to him. He was the trans secretary. So I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I don't think Pete Buttigieg, as smart as he might appear, the guy has no experience whatsoever. Being mayor of a 40,000 population doesn't put you in any perspective, any situation to be in a position over anything with the country, or much less the state. So
but I guess my point is that
he's smart.
He's smart to the degree where he can be a very smooth. He can be a very
he's a smooth talker,
and he can fool people.
Remember when he got the bike and they rode the bike. They rode the bike like within a block of the press conference, and then he gets out.
They pull the bike out. They have the back of the SUV,
and he gets on there.
He puts the helmet on,
and the press is like, "Oh, look, he rode here." I'm like, "You're so full of shit."
All right, next one. Mike Huckabee, ambassador to Israel.
I love it.
Mike Huckabee is awesome.
I do like Mike Huckabee.
His daughter is awesome too.
Oh yeah, she's badass.
Yeah, Mike Huckabee is a guy that has spent a lot of time in Israel. He knows that situation inside and out, right? And he's going to be great. And I think him and Netanyahu are friends too. So I think that's going to be a great liaison between the White House and Israel.
It's cool having a man of great faith as the ambassador to Israel, given how all major religions have a claim on Israel in some way, shape, or form.
Next one.
That's deep.
Representative Mike Waltz, National Security Advisor.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about Mike Waltz, but I think he was a Navy SEAL though.
Oh,
I know he's been in the military. I think he was a SEAL. So I like. I'm good with that pick.
No problem.
Okay. All right. Cool. Stephen Miller, Deputy Chief of Staff. Don't know much.
Don't know much. I don't
Stephen
have an
Miller,
issue.
he's only 39 years old.
That's fine.
He is a stone cold killer.
Good.
He is
stone cold killer.
And I mean that. I mean that in a political sense.
No, if you're gonna be brought into a Trump regime at 39 years old, you
better know your shit.
Yeah. Well, he worked for Trump the first time around.
I know.
Yeah, that's true. He did.
And he's one of the very few guys.
But he wasn't Deputy Chief of Staff.
No, I forget. He had some mid-level position back then. But he also formed an organization, and it's not Landmark. It's a legal foundation though, and so he has pursued a lot of different lawsuits in a lot of different areas, trying as it relates to January 6th and a lot of other issues that have gone on. But Stephen Miller, I mean, super smart, and a super unbelievable loyalist to Trump, and those are the kind of people that he needs around him. I mean, and he can go. This is a guy that can go out on all the Sunday shows and just eviscerate these numbnut interviewers that are going to try.
That's what I remember about him. He's really he's smart. Yeah. He's sharp on his feet. He's very well spoken. He doesn't mince a whole lot of words.
Yeah, Stephen Miller's great. I like him a lot.
Susie Wiles, Chief of Staff, first female ever to be a Chief of Staff.
I thought Donald Trump didn't like strong women.
Weird.
Where's Mark Cuban?
He's a misogynist, right?
Where's Mr. Cuban on that
Mark
one?
Cuban, what a dumb fuck he is. I'm sorry, dude.
First female chief of staff ever, and I don't have any problem with her. I don't know very much about her, but I'll tell you, she's supposed to be tough as nails.
Obviously, he trusts her wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and she ran the campaign. He actually gave her great deference when he made his speech that night and accepted came out and made his victory speech. And I think she was actually the first one before Tom Homan. He said Susie Wiles going to be my chief.
She was the very first one.
Yeah. So everything I've read about her, and again, I don't know much about her going into this, but those are the kind of people that you need. And it's like an offensive lineman on a football team. The only time you hear about the offensive lineman is when they do something wrong, right? They jump off sides.
Usually you don't, right?
She's been there. She's been in the trenches.
Right.
You don't hear her name because she's that good.
Yeah.
She just goes in there, gets the job done. No nonsense. I think her and Stephen Miller are a great team. And look, there's going to be wolves coming to the door at the White House.
Isn't that the truth?
And that's his line of defense right there. And those two working together, I think, are going to be awesome.
Tom Homan, we discussed.
Tom Homan, we love. That's my A+ all day long, all day. John Ratcliffe, CIA director. Don't know much about him yet. I will.
I don't think that's a controversial choice. I haven't heard a whole lot about it.
Yeah, John Ratcliffe. I forget what committee he served on.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, but when he's questioning people, I mean, I know I've played some of his sound bites on my radio show before, but when he's questioning people, and I mean, he's able to, really drill down to the nut of an issue, and I think he's another smart guy. So I think Ratcliffe is going to be fantastic.
The Pete Hegseth, there's been back and forth.
Well, it started off being controversial, but I think it's died down quite a bit. But from what I hear, the big problem is, and listen, I've liked the guy. Obviously I only know him through watching Fox News, but I like how he speaks. I like his point of view. I like his mind, at least the way it works.
Well, with that, hold on. I'm gonna hold you off right there.
Why? What are you doing?
There's a chance to course correct it, but it would take a new Trump administration going after it really hard.
How would they correct it?
Well, first of all, you got to fire. You got to fire the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and you got to fire this. I mean, obviously, you're going to bring in a new Secretary of Defense, but any general that was involved, general, admiral, whatever that was involved in any of the DEI woke shit, it's got to go. Either you're in for war fighting, and that's it, and that's the only litmus test we care about. You got to get DEI and CRT out of military academies, so you're not training young officers to be baptized in this type of thinking. And then, whatever the standards, whatever the combat standards were, say, in, I don't know, 1995, let's just make those the standards. And as far as recruiting, to hire the guy that, did Top Gun Maverick and create some real ads that motivate people to want to serve. And there's lots of other ways in which you could identify who gets promoted and what, but there's an ethos change. I mean, there's a reason people don't want to serve, because they don't trust that their senior leaders are going to have their best interest in mind in combat. I know there were mistakes made on our tours all over the place, but I, at least for the most part, had a sense that my senior leaders were committed to the completion of the mission for the right reasons. And maybe there were strategic differences and all that other stuff, and it wasn't always perfect, but that trust is broken, and you have to reestablish that trust by putting in no-nonsense warfighters in those positions who aren't going to cater to the socially correct garbage.
Boom.
It's stuff like that I like.
So that Sean Ryan interview was maybe last month, 2 months ago, whatever. I watched most of it. I don't remember exactly when it came out. He says a lot of things that may piss some people off. But guess what? You don't have to agree with everything. Everything he said there, spot on.
But what he is saying there and what he wrote about in his book is the exact same thing that Stu Scheller wrote about in his book.
That's right.
Exactly.
And the exact same thing that he talked about when he was on our podcast.
Which is weird. Isn't that so fucking weird that you have multiple, and those two aren't the only ones that feel the same way.
And Pete actually wrote a foreword in Stu Scheller's book.
Yep.
So
sure did.
So they know each other. They're contemporaries of each other, militarily speaking. They have both seen and identified the exact same issue. So if you got a guy like Stu Scheller and Pete Hegseth talking it out, and I wouldn't be surprised if Pete Hegseth brings him in.
That would be.
How great would that be?
I'd like to see some.
Have those two working.
Well, I'd like to see some, because I think what they did, although, having talked to, obviously Dan was in the military, I was not, but a lot of people said, look, I understand, I appreciate what Stu Scheller, and I do too. I appreciate what he did. He just didn't do it the right way, they said, maybe.
That's that's
and so
conjecture here or there.
But
right.
I mean, I think, that whole Afghanistan deal, it was such a mess. And somebody had to say something, and no one was saying anything.
When you
And
have that big of a mess, I'm okay with going outside of
the chain. And I'll say this: I hope that someday, having spoken to him, I think that I don't know what can be done, but I would like to think that maybe there's some way that whole court-martial type bullshit, whatever he agreed to, can be revisited, and then maybe some lesser punishment. Because I think Stu Schiller got the short end of the stick. He was the only one. I mean, to my knowledge, Dan, you might correct me, but the only one that lost their job over Afghanistan was Stu Schiller.
He's the only one.
That's just mind-boggling.
That is still true to this day.
That is mind-boggling.
But
and when you talk to hardcore military guys, they're like, yeah, we get it, but you just don't do it. Well, he did it. Well, there is something,
and he
about
paid the price for it too.
Yes,
he was willing to pay the price, and he knew he was going to pay the price, and he accepted that.
And it's one of those, like, when you do that, you recognize the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks, but hopefully, I mean, he wasn't court-martialed. It was just if I'm correct,
I think he made an agreement.
A general discharge. It's not an honorable discharge. It's a general discharge.
So it was not dishonorably discharged.
It was not dishonorable.
Okay, well, I'd like to see him somehow made whole. I really do. I don't know.
Because he's fucking right. He's fucking right.
Well, no question he was right. And, given what happened in Afghanistan, the fact that the pullout of Afghanistan, and how, we've all seen the pictures. They're just unbelievable. They should be shown more so people remember what a big fuck up that was on behalf of Joe Biden.
The Democrats left all that money, all that
material, and all the people. It wasn't just the people that didn't make it out. All the people that were working with us, ended up getting.
There's still fucking people over there.
Correct. So Stu Schiller saw people, Stu Schiller saw people blown up, and he lost his shit. And I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
And it's wrong to this day that he's the only person in the military that lost their job over that. That just strikes me as unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah. But Pete Hegseth, I think, is going to be great. He understands the rot that is brought on by all these leaders in the military who are very concerned about proper pronoun usage.
Yeah.
They're very concerned about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Right.
They're very concerned about critical race theory. They're very concerned about environmentalism. Are these the things that we want our military to concentrate on?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Nope.
I mean, it's the social experiment aspect of what lawmakers want to do with the military, that kind of stuff has to come to an end. And what he said in that clip right there was, again, talking about senior military leaders, people who get up, once you start getting up, once you've got that full bird on your shoulder, then you're looking at making that jump to the general ranks.
Right.
And then, there's a political element that comes into all this. And you've got so many of these leaders in the upper echelons of the Pentagon who are concerned about the political element to all this. And they're concerned about their own ass and their own retirement and what's best for them, instead of what's best for the people that serve under them.
Correct.
And and as a military leader, that is what you're supposed to be concerned about, not about saving your own ass.
Well, we'll have to touch back with after this all gets done. I think the criticism for Pete.
I'll shoot Stu.
Well,
I'll shoot Stu.
No, but I think the criticism.
Whoopi Goldberg said he doesn't know anything about the military. So if you want to rely on that sort of
I think some
information.
of the criticism that they said was that he was, I forget what he got out of the military ranked as.
He was a major.
Okay, and I think they're like, oh, we can't have anyone. This is their attitude,
right?
Their criticism, not mine. I think he's perfect. They're like, oh, we can't have a major be Secretary of Defense. We need somebody higher.
No bullshit.
That's fine.
No,
I think he's perfect.
No, they want someone who's been deeply enmeshed in the military-industrial complex.
I don't disagree with that.
They want someone that's been around Washington for all this time and knows the ins and outs. Bullshit.
Come in there,
be a wrecking ball,
and
get the shit squared away.
That's fine.
We're going to move on to the next one. which is one of my favorites.
Yes.
Oh, well, this is the you said A++ for what's his face?
Well, I said A+ for Homan. I think this is A++.
They're hiring, by the way. Did you know that?
Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy,
Vivek.
the Doge.
It's Vivek.
Vivek.
Like cake. Vivek, like cake.
Okay.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
I like this.
Yeah. Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah, I like this.
Why is this all of a sudden a thing? This should have been a
Because isn't that an oxymoron?
Isn't that amazing?
Well, this is going to be fun.
These two motherfuckers are going to come in and they're going to ask for receipts and you're going to show them. And I can't wait.
We'll see.
So the Drinking Bros podcast, which a lot of our listeners and followers listen to as well, they made the statement, which I think this is perfect. Dan Holloway said, this is a division of this cabinet that has a self-destruct button on purpose. You come in, you get everything figured out, you self-destruct and it's done, it's over. And then they go off and do whatever the fuck it is.
And that's what they're going to do.
That's fine.
So
I think it's fucking
a novel idea.
Here's what it's called: the Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. And here's a statement they put out on their Twitter yesterday, or their X feed. We're very grateful to the thousands of Americans who have expressed interest in helping us at Doge. We don't need more part-time idea generators. We need super high IQ, small government revolutionaries willing to work 80+ hours a week on unglamorous cost cutting. If that's you, DM this account with your CV. What's your CV?
So it's a resume. I can't remember what it stands for. It's a glamorous resume.
It's a big word for resume.
Yeah.
Acronym.
Elon and Vivek will review the
I'm a stupid fucking fireman.
Elon and Vivek will review the top 1% of applicants.
Oh, geez.
So there's, look how different this is. And that's one thing Vivek Ramaswamy, and I know Elon Musk does too. But when it comes to hiring on merit, meritocracy, they're all about that.
Oh, they are.
And it's so funny to see these numbnut libtards on MSNBC and whatever you name the liberal media outlet. They're all making these jokes about, oh, well, they need two guys to run this department.
Oh, yeah. Two guys to run a job for one.
That sounds pretty wasteful to me.
That, yeah.
What clowns they are.
First of all, they're doing it at no pay. There's not a pay.
Yeah, they're both super rich. So
it's not the money that they're going for. And I'm looking forward. That's why I said before, transformative. This is going to be a very transformative administration. And politically, I think it's wonderful. I think this is like such a breath of fresh air in politics.
All right, where are we at now? Tulsi Gabbard. Ooh,
come on now,
love it. Director of National Intelligence. I love Tulsi Gabbard.
Why do you love Tulsi Gabbard?
Well, she is very easy on the eyes.
Okay.
She can shoot a gun like
she's a surfer. You know that,
and she's a surfer.
She's a surfer. Yes.
But I love the fact that she was on a terror watch list,
okay.
And now all of a sudden she's a director of national intelligence. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the funniest part.
Do you see how?
I love that.
I think that is the funniest part. I mean,
you fucking clowns.
Now
you
remember,
fucking assholes.
The amazing thing is, like, just a short time ago, she was the Democrat candidate for president. And
you're
now
right.
Here she is in a Republican administration.
Well, Hillary called her a Russian stooge. You remember that?
Yeah.
During that debate?
Yeah.
Russian stooge. And then all of a sudden in other interviews, she was like, she hammered The View.
Yeah.
And I wish I had that clip.
Well, she hammered The View. She hammered Hillary. She hammered Kamala Harris. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is, I'm very, very glad she's on our team.
Yeah.
6 months ago, I probably would not have said that.
No, but she wasn't saying a whole lot 6 months ago.
Yeah. I was very concerned because people were like, oh, Tulsi Gabbard for vice president, Tulsi Gabbard for this.
Yeah, that might.
And I was thinking, let's cool our jets on that a little bit. It's great that she's speaking, but even when she was a Democrat, she did something then that very few Democrats do, and that's speak truth to issues.
Right.
And even though I didn't care for some of the positions that she was talking about.
Right.
You remember when Jerry Brown was the governor of California?
Yes, I do.
I didn't like Jerry Brown. I didn't like him politically at all, but I appreciated him because he did not try to hide his liberalism.
Right.
He was liberal all day long. He was loud and proud, and didn't care who knew about it. And if you wanted to disagree with him, he would argue with you in the arena of ideas. Tulsi Gabbard has been the same way, and then her thinking evolved, I guess, to come around to thinking, you know what, these Democrats really aren't right about a lot of stuff.
I think that,
and so she's called them out more and more, and then she came to work for Trump, and I think she's going to be good.
I think she'll be fine. I think that her being the very victim of the agent, of the security bullshit, I think is going to be really refreshing.
And I'll just say right now, if she's a Trojan horse, then I'll own it. If we find that out.
Well, I mean, what
how
a
year or 18 months down the road.
I mean, how much Trojan horse can she do in that department? I mean, I'm wondering.
DNI.
Yeah, but I mean, what can she do that's political? I mean, see what I'm saying? I'm if she tries to somehow insert.
That's a good point.
I don't know that she's going to be able to do that. I think she's going to be able to.
There's going to be some oversight there.
Yeah.
Well, I think she's going to be able to just show how maybe it's been politicized to being that she was the victim of it.
Yeah, I hope politics takes a back seat because DNI is all about, overseeing those agencies that are involved with the safety and security of the United States of America.
Well, and I think that she is going to be able, having now had them turn on her, she's going to be able to show and stop the way, these agencies are really being turned on the American public in a way that is illegal.
Well, that's what it just said. With Trump doing all these picks, he is saying it's no longer going to be business as usual,
which is beautiful.
And on day one, he wants to go in there and make that plain to the American people, because he's only got 4 years.
Well, he's got less than that.
To try and turn this around in that short amount of time.
Oh, wait. I got a definition of CV. It's curriculum vitae.
Oh, that's what those.
It's like a resume, but longer, and has all your training, research, blah blah blah.
I'm not
blah,
that
blah,
fucking smart. I'm a dumb fireman. I put resumes in. I don't do the CVs.
I have a good source.
I call that a job application where I come from. That's right. You hiring over there? Yeah, I'm good.
Fill this out.
We've already talked about.
I'll be here at 8:00 tomorrow morning.
We've already talked about Matt Gaetz, RFK, Secretary of Health and Human Services. Thoughts?
I heard some guys talking about this last night. Do you know that Health and Human Services is that agency spends more money than any other?
I don't
in the
doubt
United States
I have
government.
No doubt.
So he's going to be in charge of a huge budget. I think
it's mildly concerning, given his politics.
Or I like to think that Kennedy has been so abused and so
maligned by his own
by his own party. He's ready to give them a huge middle finger. And I'm going into this thinking that he's going to do a good job for Trump, because that's where his bread is buttered now. I mean, not that Kennedy needs to worry about his bread being buttered. I mean, how much you think that guy's worth?
Oh,
I mean,
I don't even know. But
billions?
I don't think he has to worry about anything.
No, he's not worried about it.
I'll say this. I
think he wants to be taken seriously.
I do not like a lot of his political opinions and perspectives, especially given on the environment and some other issues we disagree. However, the guy knows his shit about health, okay? And he knows about the food supply. And I think that's what he's going into it, and drugs and vaccines. And he's a pretty smart and very well-educated guy. And I don't have a problem with him in that role, as long as, like you said, it's a huge agency, right? And I don't want to see anything. I don't want to see any maybe liberal persuasion come in and try to expand further. You know what I'm saying?
The fact that he got alienated so much by his family.
Oh, yeah. Could you imagine?
He obviously has the same thoughts, but then also it was like, hold on, guys, settle down.
What's Thanksgiving going to be like at the Kennedy compound?
I want to be there. I want to see it. I want to be.
That's going to be awesome.
I think it's a good pick.
They're using the really big table this year. The one that goes way.
Sit at the other end.
But I'm also he'll be at the kids' table.
Maybe
he'll be at the kids' table. But I'll be curious to see. And like you said, it's a big agency. I think it's a good pick, but I mean I can't hang my hat on it.
But you
But
see what the stocks of the pharmaceutical stocks did like the next day. They all took a bath. I mean, after he was announced, there's a lot. Listen, I've
because they're like, fuck.
yeah, they're like, the party's over. There's a lot of somebody was on a radio program earlier and they were talking about Pfizer. There's a lot of really concerning. I mean, and I'm not a conspiracy-ish kind of guy, but there's a lot of crap going on when literally, and this is something Kennedy speaks to a lot, but when like this product, I'm just using this as an example, in the United States, it has 15 ingredients, but in Europe, same product has like 10 ingredients because the other 5 have been deemed hazardous, but we use them here because it makes it cheaper to produce. I mean, he's got some great points, and I think he is very concerned about the food supply, and especially like things like seed oils. He's very concerned about. And you look, Dan, you remember? I mean, back in the 70s, we were kids, right? Very few of our. I know I wasn't. You might have been. You always look like you're a bit kind of portly, but at the end of the Wow. Boom.
Dude.
No, it's just like old times. It's just like old times.
Back.
I was an all-city football player, man.
Okay,
Come on.
so back in the day, my point is, in the 70s, like if you went to the beach, you didn't see that many fat people, right? I mean, do you remember back in the day?
Well, people had some decorum back
Well, let's
then.
just
They're
say
like,
this.
I have no business being on the beach, so I'm not going. But no,
if you went to Coney, right? Did you ever go to Coney back in the day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're saying.
So back in the day at Coney, it wasn't a fatty fest, right?
No, you're correct. You are right.
So there's something to be said, and you look at photographs of that people. It's not that it cannot be that we are just a lazier society now than we were then, and it cannot be that we walked and rode our bikes everywhere then. It's just in general, people have gotten heavier and bigger, and and the food supply, I think, is a very root cause of that. And I blame my fatness now. I'm a victim.
I blame mine on.
It's not a victimless crime, sir.
I blame mine on McDonald's. Drinking beer.
But I mean, my point is, I think
Burger King.
I think there's something to be said for the fact that look, the guy speaks truth.
1 a.m. White Castles doesn't really help a whole lot.
Happened the other night. Happened on the night before my birthday.
At 1 o'clock. Oh.
Hey, I wasn't the only one there.
Sure.
The drive-thru was about 8 cars deep, man. That's not a lie. That's the truth.
Brave,
Joe
man.
Biden, that's true. You think I'm joking? That's a true story.
You think I'm joking.
So I think we'll see how the Kennedy pick works out, but I'm excited about it. And who would have thought? Listen, who'd have thought that you asked me? Probably. I mean, I'm fairly known as a fairly right wing person. 6 months ago, hey, you think Kennedy's going to be a good whatever? I'd be like,
What?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah.
And here we are today discussing the fact that Donald J. Trump has had the foresight and the ability to cobble together so many disparate groups that just don't agree and disparate people, and they're now all on his team pulling in the same direction. That's amazing.
But here's the thing. I think when you look at people like Tulsi Gabbard and Kennedy,
right?
I don't see these people as ones who just simply abandon everything that they believe so they can get a job or they can get a position or people look at them
just be willy-nilly
a certain way. I think this is what happens when people, especially those on the left and people who are honest about what they're hearing and processing information. So they're hearing the arguments of the right. They're hearing the arguments of those who don't necessarily disagree with them.
Right.
And they're saying, you know what? They can find common ground. They can find they can look at the argument from the other side and say, you're right about that. You're right about that. You're right about that. I still think, I have these ideas. I think he's still, a huge pro-choice, abortion all the way through the 9th month, all that kind of stuff.
Probably.
So I don't think he's given up on that. But I think he's looked at a lot of the other arguments and compared them to, what he believed when he was a hardcore leftist, which he might still be deep down inside, but he can also be honest about it and look at the other side and saying some of these things that Trump wants to do is the right thing to do, and I'm going to help him do it.
That's fine. I don't
I
disagree.
think
with that.
Tulsi Gabbard is kind of in that same lane right there.
And I can't disagree with you. And somebody pointed out, I think the draw was, remember, for example, that Trump was a Democrat at one time, and now he's a Republican. And then I think what that speaks to more than anything else, the fact we have now 3 prominent Democrats that are working in the same administration under a Republican banner, one at the head of it, is how far the Democrat Party has drifted away from their base values and become just a party of nothing but extremists and radicals. And if you can't see that,
if you got people jumping ship,
I can't help you.
The ship is sinking.
Well, the Republican Party is now, amazingly, growing up, the Republican people say, "Oh, you're a Republican because you." And I'm just using this as an example, but you're white, you belong to a country club, blah 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 blah, whatever, right? You're a rich white Republican.
You belong to a country club?
Yeah, no, I don't.
I was gonna fuck. I want to play golf.
He owns one.
No,
he does. He's not a member.
So, but my point is that look at the metamorphosis. Now the Republican Party, and through Donald Trump and his picks, his vision, his speak, what he's done. And I'm not saying he's the end all be all. I'm just saying it's amazing. You're looking at the results. The Republican Party is the party of the working man. Donald Trump drove a freaking garbage truck. That was brilliant. Donald Trump went into the Bronx and spoke to black barbers there and had no problem walking right in there and talking to these guys. That was great.
It was awesome.
These are things that Republican candidates would not have done back in the day. And he's able to not only do it, but the working man connects with not only Donald Trump, but his message and his vision. And that's why you're seeing people like Tulsi Gabbard and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. say, you know what, this isn't the Republican Party of old. This is something new, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, and the thing is, when he does those things, he doesn't pander. He didn't go in and say,
he believes it.
Joe Biden goes into the barbershop. Yeah. Oh, when I was a kid growing up,
I used to cut hair
in Poughkeepsie. Yeah, man, my dad would bring me to the barbershop right after we get done with Temple. And
when I was at Scranton doing braids on the black kids' hair.
That's right. And they were feeling my skin. Yeah, corn pop.
And then I did the Puerto Rican's hair, and it was real oily.
Yeah. Trump didn't do any of that. He was talking to the guys like, "This is your business. How's it going?" He's talking business. He's able to talk on that guy's level and be a real person.
And the garbage truck,
which Kamala Harris couldn't do.
Kamala Harris couldn't do anything.
And these fucking Democrats, these liberals, that can't understand that.
No.
And understand.
Did you invite Kamala
difference.
Harris to be on this podcast? By the way,
it was too long.
Oh, I would love to.
It was too long.
Oh, I would absolutely.
She made a lot of demands of Joe Rogan. We've heard.
Did you hear
what Rogan said about that?
I did.
We were going to cover that. We went too long.
That's a whole show.
Because I knew I had you two, so I knew it was going to go too long.
All right, we got to get out of here.
This is
one more and I'm out of here. We got to get out of here.
One more, we're out of here.
What's the next one?
Well, you have a vacation planned.
You bailed on our cabinet picks here.
We finished them up. We don't have time to go through them.
Well, the rest of them were kind of inconsequential. And
the next one was Doug Collins. I like Doug.
We're already at 100 or hour and 23 minutes.
So let me say this,
because you two keep
wait. Overall, and we'll close with this. Overall,
I really don't want to talk today, though.
That's right.
You're right.
Jesus,
shocker.
I give Trump's picks, and I'm very impressed about how early and how quickly he's hitting the ground running. Unlike the first term, which took longer to get going. I give it probably a solid. Even with, if somebody wants to complain about Gates and some of the others, I still give it an overall A. I'm very impressed, and I'm impressed with the people he's put in there. You can nitpick one or two, but overall, I think the team that he's building bodes well for his administration and the direction and the vision of where this country is going to be headed for the next 4 years.
Yeah, I look at that team. I don't see a lot of namby-pambyism going on there, right. and I think that's what the people who voted for Trump, that's what they want, and I think he recognizes that, and he's got a serious agenda, and he's got a serious team that's going to help him achieve that agenda.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
are you excited?
I did. Did you like me using the phrase namby-pamby?
I did.
It's pretty good. Not a lot of that going on in this administration.
I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to it.
I will roll. I'll roll into the same thing. Hopefully, everything as it sits goes through.
Right.
We're not sure that it will, but
I think overall, I think most will.
I think most will.
I think most will.
But yeah, I think, and to your point, I'm excited how fast it's happening. He was like, "Look, I'm not fucking around at this point.
No,
I got 4 years to do this."
No, he's got less than 4 years. He's got literally, because remember, Congress is a 2-year term, right? So these guys are going to be running for re-election here in another.
But his term. But I'm just saying, on his term, he was like, "Dude, I'm hitting it."
He's not wasting a whole lot of time.
Yeah,
I think his first 100 days are key. I would love to see Congress get some bills passed and to have waiting on his desk for him to sign as soon as he gets in office. So some of this is law rather than executive order.
Well, if he can keep this momentum, if the momentum he's got right now, if he can keep this going through the midterms, I think we're going to see a shift there as well.
I agree with
where
you.
Presidents typically lose seats in the midterm.
We may not.
I think he's going to. I think that the Democrats who don't go along with his agenda are going to find themselves in big trouble.
Can I? And I know we have to close, but I want to say this, and we'll talk about another. We'll talk about another show. But here's my concern.
Hold on.
What do you say? What happened?
No, hold on.
Oh, you got another soundbite?
No, keep going. Keep talking. I'm just saying we're not
going
to
hold on. I stopped.
We're not. I know. Well, that's the first time you've ever listened to me.
Well, but no. Here's my concern.
It's like an hour. We're like an hour and a half in. Already.
I know, but I mentioned this earlier, and I want people to look at this. You're seeing a lot of really negative reporting on the economy. I mean, actual reporting, like GM's axing at 6,000 jobs. Stellantis is laying off people left and right. You're seeing Advanced Auto Part or AutoZone. Which one was it? They're closing.
Advanced Auto.
So I mean, there's a lot of really bad economic news that they kind of either kept suppressed or hidden. That's now coming to the surface. So my point is, in mentioning this, is I don't believe the economy is in nearly the shape that the Democrats have been painting it to be in, and I'm concerned because I think that what's going to happen is the shit's going to hit the fan here. Because these chickens are coming home to roost, and they're going to blame all this crap on Donald Trump.
There, read that headline right there.
Job growth plummets in October, August, and September revised down, which they all were revised down
every month under this administration.
So
down.
Right. So my point is, they're going to try. They've falsely built up your hopes. They lied to you again, and they paid for it at the election. True, but remember that when you start seeing these economic realities come to bear and you're like, oh, so-and-so's losing his job. I thought things were supposed to be better under Trump. This is all shit that's happened under Joe Biden.
And they're going to try and put it on Trump.
Exactly.
Because this doesn't turn around in 1 month or 6 months.
This will be his fault.
This will be his fault. So I want all you Democrats and I want you good Republicans to remember when things get bad here, or they might get a little bit more rocky, Donald Trump's not in office yet. We're still suffering under the economic policies of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
These policies follow every president.
That's right. So just remember that.
We will we'll get back with you and figure out on Instagram, Facebook when we're coming back. Dan, it brought his schedule.
You know what? I didn't bring it.
Yeah, well, he said he was going to bring it. He did not bring it.
So we'll do it. We'll do it this weekend. We'll get it done this weekend.
We'll let you know. And thank you guys for being here. We had a ton of viewers tonight, which was awesome. Everybody, I think.
My money's on Mike Tyson tonight. Boom.
I'll go with that.
Money on Mike Tyson.
What round?
You want? Yeah, I was going to say, you want third round?
It's scheduled for 8 rounds, I think. I'm going to say they'll go 4 rounds.
4 rounds?
He drops them in 4.
Tyson in 3.
TKO?
Yeah, because he's going to come out like a madman. He doesn't have the stamina to last 8 rounds.
These guys.
The round's only 2 minutes long, though.
That's never stopped you before.
Oh, shit.